Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Axie Infinity. I got a lot of requests for this one here recently. I can totally see why it just took off. And again, as per usual, I make these videos for you. So if you got any requests that you want to make, jump on over to our Discord. We have a request section here where you can ask us to cover any coin that you'd like. Okay? So happy to help there, of course. Now, if you obviously want to become a better trader, CryptoCash.tech is a site too where you can register for our premium groups. Here you can see we have BlueZell, 60% profit in 3 days, and then Solana, nice little 3-day, 30% there. Those are our most recent trades, and we have pretty consistent trades coming through there, but obviously we had to wait for CPI data to come through, which turned out to be very positive. I mean, we can see that the price action for Bitcoin is doing very well. Most other coins are looking pretty strong right now, okay? So I've got some playout charts and things you can check on our Twitter, of course. Be sure to check that out. Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, all available down below if you'd like to kind of stay in the know. All right, so with Axie Infinity, what are we going on here? What's the haps here? Well, simply put, it's looking very strong. We broke above 70 on the RSI. Money flow index is extremely high. This is common for coins that just take off, of course, with the volume, because if you take a look here, we were kind of stagnant, and now instantly out of nowhere, the price took off. Now, that could be a short squeeze. It could also be just strictly a fundamental catalyst that caused the price action to shoot up. Either way you look at it, it's one of those situations where we should expect the price to continue until it doesn't. The main reason why is because we broke soundly through this most recent resistance here. Okay, so you can kind of see this is again just based on the 4-hour time frame. We have a lot of volume resistance here, or previous resistance in this range. Okay, so again, all the volume right here at this level, essentially, kind of just letting us know that we've broken through that level. It should work as a support level moving forward. We're only about 12 hours into this continuation. Most continuations run anywhere between 24 to 36 hours. So we're still in the early phases here. So the likelihood of the price continuing up from here is greater based on that sentiment. Now, do you take a trade based on that one thing? No, of course not. There's a lot of other things factoring in. And we're going to take a look at that here, of course. So looking at the bigger picture, let's go ahead and kind of get some Fibonacci retracement levels, some larger time fibs up here. I get the question also a lot, how do you set your fib levels correctly? And, in truth, there's a lot of different ways to do it. Most of them are always correct. There's very little there's a large margin for error, but there's a small margin for inaccuracy, because Fibonacci is so good that it allows you to find levels even if you are using smaller or larger time frames. Just know the larger the time frame, the more impactful those support and resistance levels become. Which is why I like to look at this, because I gravitate a little more towards swing trading. I like to hold my trades open for longer than just a couple of hours. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't, but for the most part, most of my trades last a lot longer than just one day. That being said, taking a look at the daily, what do you know? We got some nice Fibonacci retracement levels here. 0.236 here, potentially for the win or loss, depending on how you look at it. $4.71, almost exactly where the price action is at right now, is a key level fib. You can see the price action came down to bounce off this level, consistently held as a support. What do you know? Now it's a resistance level. So the first time you test a resistance, does it break through? Usually not. Oftentimes it'll come back down and retest it a second time later, perhaps even days later. So my anticipation based on this here is that we're going to, unless we can close above this level, we're probably going to see the price action consolidate and then leg up potentially in a few days. The likelihood of it just blasting straight through there right now is lower because that's a resistance level. Okay, again, you could simply draw a line on the chart and see it's pretty obvious that this level here is a pretty strong support and resistance zone. Okay, so again, until we break through there soundly and close above, we want to consider that a resistance. It doesn't mean we're going to lose momentum. It just implies we're going to have some trouble getting into that range. The 20-day SMA, we are tentatively above that. That's a positive sign, but just know we got the 50-day out just above us here right now. So we could draw out a trend line here too, kind of sort of coming down here, where we can see the price action is having difficulty getting through that level. In fact, the candle wick came right up to that descending trend, which is a very common characteristic, that most recent volume profile, again, that we've already discussed. So what does that mean for us here? Well, we're at 50 on the RSI. Commonly on the daily, if you see 50 on the RSI, it's a bearish sentiment. Okay. In other words, every time you've seen the price action in the past try to break through 50, it's had some difficulty doing so. Okay, so tries to break through here, 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 and here. Every single time it gets rejected. Okay, so what's different now? Well, nothing yet. We got increased volume. That's the important thing. But if that volume doesn't sustain, we're going to see the price pull back again. Taking a look at the volume too. This is the first time we've seen this amount of volume in some time, though. So you got to recognize it's a pretty significant volume increase. Last time we had a volume increase, the price just canceled out the day after and continued to go sideways and down. Could that happen again? Yes, but there's a stronger likelihood this will be more successful, considering this is a lower low and effectively a liquidity sweep. a lot of times you will see liquidity levels getting, pulled, if you will, and then essentially the price just recovers instantly. Okay. So again, we've passed this previous liquidity level. I think there's a good chance this could sustain this time around. So what are we looking at here for the 4 hour? Let's go ahead and talk about that and wrap this up here. Okay, so the 4 hour, once again, overextended over 70 on the RSI. That can typically work as a support level, so it does imply we might see the price go sideways for a little while before it legs up and breaks through this resistance. We've got the 200-day SMA rejecting the price action initially. That's a very common characteristic. And at this point here, we got a strong convergence on the MACD with the increased volume. So this, to translate this and make this simple, we got a large amount of volume coming into the coin. We've got some key level resistances we're testing. We haven't broken through them yet, but we're still not overextended, and we just started this push. So in situations like this, I like to wait for confirmation, wait to make sure the price action goes to that certain level. We can see Bitcoin pulling back, and of course, most coins are going to start pulling back too because Bitcoin dominance is still high. You have a high increase in Bitcoin dominance, and then the value of Bitcoin comes down, alts will suffer. In fact, we have that in our education section here too. If you're kind of curious, basically right now we got Bitcoin dominance is up, price of Bitcoin is stable / down. So we could either see alts stabilize or alts will potentially dump or go down. For the most part, it's not good for altcoins when Bitcoin dominance increases and the price of Bitcoin kind of goes sideways or down. Okay, so just keep that in mind. That could very well be the situation right now where this coin could suffer because of that pullback from Bitcoin if it pulls back. Okay, we got a liquidity level at 27,000, and if Bitcoin breaks through that level, we're going to see some pretty interesting things with small coins. So we're kind of on the edge of greatness, but also potentially disaster. So all the more reason to kind of be hesitant and careful with your trades and not to just jump right into any old trade because it looks juicy because Bitcoin's taken off, right? Doesn't always work that way. Okay, so let's wrap this up here. What's the hourly tell us? Well, we're likely going to be well above the cloud. Conversion line's above the baseline. We got some momentum here, which is nice. But in truth, the lagging span is soon to intersect with the price action next 12 hours. So if we don't see the price continue higher in the next 12 hours, it might be safe to say that the price will pull back to the most recent levels. And what I mean by levels is just, we take the most recent Fibonacci levels here, and let's just say 12 to 24 hours. We can see that 0.5, roughly $4.50, will be the likely place in which the price will consolidate. It's an extremely common characteristical location for the price to kind of gravitate towards when you have these increases that pump and dump, so to speak. Okay, so it does dump, which kind of already has but it's consolidating at resistance. If it doesn't move up any further, it'll come down. But you got to keep in mind, we are starting to see this nice little pattern here, right? It's kind of a, pardon my artwork here. This is somewhat of a bullish pennant pattern. Okay, price works itself into a little bit of a wedge and typically breaks up because it originates from the downside. So we have still statistically a higher probability of the price going up than down from here. Just know we're needing to build a volume profile at this resistance level. Once we break through that, it should be off to the races. Again, a lot of this hinges on Bitcoin not dumping back down to the 25,000 range. That does happen. Alts will suffer and shorts will succeed. Okay? So be mindful of that. I'm not saying you should short this right now, but if Bitcoin has trouble getting through this level and starts to pull back, you may want to consider a short. All right. Okay. So just pay attention to Bitcoin. That's my main thing here. But this is somewhat of a fundamental catalyst. Volume has increased significantly. Just know it is starting to taper off. And as it does taper off, unless we see more volume here soon, the price could come back down. I hope this was beneficial for you. This is basically the extent of what I like to do. I do this day in, day out. This is my full-time job. If you want to become, again, better trader, interact with our community over here, jump on over. We've got a really cool group of folks here, and it's a lot of fun. Okay, so looking forward to working with you. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. We'll see you in tomorrow's video. Take good care. Thank you.